In 2017, a group of college friends found a cheap, abandoned resort to stay at in Tulum, Mexico. It was supposed to be a thrill, an adventure story they'd tell for years. The kind of wild memory that would echo at reunions and late-night conversations. The first night, just as the clock struck 3 a.m., they were woken by a soft, persistent knocking at their door, not frantic, but slow. Almost deliberate. Sleepy and slightly unnerved, one of them, Maya, tiptoed toward the peephole to look outside. When she peered through the tiny glass, she froze. There was no one there. Just the dark, endless hallway stretching into shadows, illuminated only by a flickering overhead light. The air outside the door seemed unnaturally still, almost thick, as if the building itself was holding its breath. Thinking it might be a prank from other guests, even though they knew they were the only ones staying there, they decided to ignore it and went back to bed. But as Mia lay back down, the knocking resumed. Softer this time, then louder, then scraping like fingernails dragging slowly across the wood. And somewhere, faint but unmistakable, they all heard it. A whisper, from just outside the door, calling each of their names. By the third night, one of them, Jason, vanished. The others found him at sunrise barefoot, miles down the beach, muttering about voices in the walls, and someone calling him outside. The police said he had no signs of trauma, but he refused to ever speak about that night again. Camera zoomed slowly out from Jason's blank stare. The vanishing ride, 6/30/12/0. Footage of an eerie, empty coastal highway at sunset. Narrator? In Florida, two roommates, Sarah and Brooke, decided to hitch a ride after their car broke down during spring break 2012. A white van stopped. Inside was a man, smiling too wide, who insisted he was a local tour guide. Against their instincts, they got in. 30 minutes later, he turned off the main road, into the swamps. Sarah noticed the locks were removed from the inside of the doors. Terrified, she texted a live location to a friend just before the driver snatched her phone. That message saved their lives. Police intercepted the van near a dead-end marsh. The driver? A wanted man connected to 3 unsolved disappearances. Shot of swamp water, slow fade to black. The hotel room that shouldn't exist, 12/017/30. Visuals, flickering hotel corridor lights. Camera shakes slightly. Narrator, spring break 2005. Cancun, Mexico. College senior Ethan got separated from his group after a wild night out. Wandering back to the hotel, he found a door that wasn't there before room 313. Curious and drunk, he stumbled inside. The room was ice cold. Dust covered everything. And in the bathroom mirror, he swore he saw himself, but smiling when he wasn't. Terrified, he ran back into the hallway. Later, when he returned with security, there was no room 313. The hallway where he swore he had entered was just a solid blank wall. No door. No sign. Nothing. The night manager pulled out the original blueprints of the hotel, yellowed with age. They combed through every floor plan, every renovation record. Room 313 had never existed, not officially, not even as a storage closet. When Ethan insisted he had been there, described the peeling wallpaper, the broken lamp, the cold staleness of the air, the staff exchanged uneasy glances. One of the older employees finally pulled him aside and muttered in a low, trembling voice, "You're not the first guest to find a room that shouldn't be there, but those who do usually don't leave the same." That night, back in his real hotel room, Ethan locked every door and window. Still, just before dawn, he woke up to find something chilling. A rusty old key lying on the floor at the foot of his bed, tagged with the number 313. Echoed whispers as screen slowly fades out. The spring breaker who was never there, 17, 30, 23, 0. Fool, footage, empty beaches at night, distant laughter carried by the wind. Narrator? In 2010, a group of friends spent their spring break at a beach house in North Carolina. Every night, they set an extra place at the dinner table for a friend named Lily. The only problem? There was no Lily. Locals later told them about a girl who vanished near that beach decades ago during spring break. A girl who was said to join groups of travelers only to disappear again before sunrise. They called her the Forgotten Guest. Legends claimed she would appear out of nowhere barefoot, drenched in seawater, her clothes tattered as if she had washed ashore. She would smile, speak little, and blend in so naturally that no one questioned who she was until the morning came. Then she'd be gone. No footprints in the sand. No name in the guest book. No trace she had ever existed at all. Some who encountered her said she left behind a wet, salty scent in the room she had stayed in, like the ocean itself had seeped into the walls. Others swore that if you caught her reflection in a window or a mirror, her eyes weren't human, but hollow, black, and endless. One chilling rumor whispered among the locals said, if you ever shared a meal with her, she would remember you and one day return. For good. When the group checked the photos from the trip, they felt a chill crawl down their spines. Lily was in the background of several shots. Not blurred, not accidental, she was clear, as if she had been standing there the entire time. Smiling, standing right behind them. In some pictures, her face looked normal, almost too perfect. But in others, if you looked closely, her eyes seemed wrong too wide, too dark, almost glassy, like a doll's. In one photo taken at the bonfire, her hand was resting lightly on one of the friend's shoulders. Yet none of them remembered feeling a touch. Even more disturbing, as they swiped through the photos, they realized something impossible. With each new picture, Lily seemed to move closer. At first, she was just in the distance, then at the edge of the group, then right in the center, smiling as if she belonged. The final photo, a selfie taken on their last night, showed her face looming directly behind them, far too close, her smile twisted unnaturally wide. Terrified, they deleted every photo. But the next morning, the pictures had reappeared on their phones. Only this time, they weren't the ones smiling. Image of an old, blurry photo appears, circled shadowy figure,